So, welcome to the Bat Out of Debt show on another beautiful Sunday morning in Seattle. We have a special guest here today, Olympia Edwards from Project Girl Mentorship Program?
Yes, Project Girl Mentoring Program.
Yeah, and then we have Patrick Doherty, our resident accountant expert working for a prestigious accounting firm in Los Angeles, California. Let's talk about the Project Girl Mentorship Program, this free program for families. It's an excellent thing that Olympia is doing. I'm so excited to have her on the show, so let's start the show. All right. Good morning. Olympia, do we have audio?
Yes, good
Uh,
morning.
okay, Patrick, do we have audio on your side?
I have audio on my side.
All right, perfect. We do not have any technical difficulties. Olympia, welcome to the Bet Out of That show.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, so Olympia, it's funny how we met. We met
hmm
in the parking lot. I was dropping my daughter off, and my daughter, she's 13 years old, Kiara. She's part of a mentorship program here in the Seattle, Washington area. And I went to drop her off, and then Olympia comes out to meet me, greeting me, very friendly. And she goes, hey, come in my place and check out the place and start telling me about your program. So I'm so happy to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, so Olympia, and Patrick, we're gonna get also into AMD and a SWOT analysis. I should have said that up front. But in our first segment of the program, we're really concentrating on the Project Girl Mentorship Program with Olympia. And so, Olympia, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what is the Project Mentorship Program, Project Girl Mentorship Program?
Okay. So, my name is Olympia Edwards, and I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. Whoop, whoop. I grew up out there. I went to school out there to the University of North Florida. Um, I got my degree in sociology and gender studies, and with a concentration of particularly girls and girls of color. Um, and Project Girl Mentoring Program is a group-based, individual counseling-based mentoring program where we teach girls coping skills and life skills to deal with life and to have a positive outcome of the things that they're kind of dealing with or things that they're surrounded around. And
Very,
so we do that by doing life skills and just kind of connecting with them and hanging out with them.
very, very interesting. Now, this mentorship program you have, and Jimmy Love, our guest from the show last week, hitting us all the way from Germany, Stuttgart, Germany. Uh, he said, Gomo, madam, gentlemen, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Jimmy. Um, so, when people hear about a mentorship program and they hear about, people giving back, oftentimes they want to know how much does it cost a family to participate in your mentorship program. So can you explain that?
So upfront, it doesn't actually cost anything for the girls to participate because most programs out there that are geared towards teens in general, they always have like a higher price range. And I wanted a program where girls can come in and it be open to the point where they didn't have any upfront costs to deter them from being a part of the program. And so through community grants and community donations, we're able to make the program so free of charge. So the girls, but what it actually takes to run it day by day is about $500 a month just for each girl to participate in the program. And that is allocated for like all our staff. And then we do provide like snacks and dinner while we're there. We try to have it free flowing. And when they're not in school and on the weekends, and especially during the summertime, we're able to actually do stuff and take them out to experience different experiences. And we wanted to not have a barrier for families to be a part of that.
So wait a minute. Are you telling me your program starting out up front is absolutely free for the families to
Yeah,
participate in up front?
it's absolutely up free for any mentee to be a part of the program.
So then if it's absolutely free to participate and it costs about $500 a month in cost per girl to kind of do what you're doing. How is your program funded? Can you go in more detail on how do you fund that?
So we are funded again by grants and donations. And so as our program staff, we do the upfront part of looking for grants that meet the needs of our youth, and then looking how can we find funds for them and experiences for them so that they may be able to experience some of the things or have a caring mentor or even have a counselor where they can have access to. And so basically it's the whole grant role of looking for people who want to invest in girls mentoring, especially looking for programs who actually invest in young women of color, reaching out to some of our donors and asking them to help us if we have a need, reaching out to different major companies that offer sponsoring, I think sponsors, that's what they call it, where like the match donations. So we reach out for that. We also do a lot of in-kind stuff. So where we might, if we have a need of like mask, we might write a letter to different organizations, or if we need supplies and stuff like that, we'll ask so that we just try to decrease the barriers for especially for young women of color. So I'll be like, well, my family particularly can't afford to be a part of this. So this is why we try to make it on our end to make it affordable for them, which is where they just have a low barrier. So just come as you are, come and connect with us, and go from there.
So I got a question from Jimmy Love out in Germany. Jimmy said, "Is your organization 501c3 nonprofit organization?"
Yes, Project Girl is a 501c3 organization. Um, I'm a firm believer in doing the groundwork. So we actually wrote our own 501c3 paperwork and got everything together. And so that was one of our big accomplishments of really investing in our own selves and getting that together so that we were able to go after some of the major grants in the community.
Yeah, if you hit the like button, I got the likes up on that one. Big likes
And
up on
just
that
and
one,
just to
Olympia.
add on to that,
Go ahead,
for
Patrick.
those for those who might not be familiar with the term 501c3, that makes it an eligible charitable donation. Whatever charity, whatever charitable donation you make to um, this organization. So again, thumbs up for that.
And what's your main sources? Well, who is your biggest contributors right now, Olympia, to fund the program? Because obviously, there's a lot of perks that come with this program.
Our main source right now is a group out here called the Verdant Health Commission. They really kind of stepped up in this past 18 months and said they want to really invest into Project Girl. And by investing, not just in kind stuff, but really investing the dollars that they're getting to say, like, we're going to put women and girls first. Particularly, we're going to put girls of color first. And that's something rare that right now a lot of people are trying to get to the point where they're doing, but really getting to that point of putting, say, like, yeah, we see them, but really putting some dollars behind them.
And so I guess that leads me to who is your target audience and demographics for the program, and let's include the age in that demographic. So who is that target demographic?
Our target is young women of color, ages 11 through 18, in middle and high school. And that's our basic target right there. And
And
especially in the area that we are at, where a lot of them don't have the opportunity to kind of be together and connect. And so that's why we particularly only work with young women of color, so that they can kind of see themselves and they can kind of build upon just some of the things that they're going through, and create this collective sisterhood where there's like, okay, we are together. So that's why we particularly work with middle school and high school, because they do have like just some of those needs that are, young women are growing and they're changing and they need someone to talk to.
yeah, if you like what you hear, hit the like button. Get the likes up. If you like what you're hearing, I got the likes falling on the screen. So Olympia, let's talk about more detail about the amenities that the girls receive in the program. And it's a free program. I know what I'm trying to do. I know you can take donations from companies like, Microsoft is out here. Amazon is out here, Boeing. They have programs where if you work for these companies, Nordstrom's, other companies that's located out here, they can provide funding for parents for nonprofits like yourself. And with the amount of amenities that my child gets when she participates, can you share a little more on the amenities?
Okay. So off the bat, coming in, they right now we're doing after school. So off the bat, they get a tutor that's there for them to help them with any subject that they have. Most of all our interns and our mentors that are coming in, they're coming from either they just graduated with their bachelor's degree or a master's degree. And so they're kind of like right in that thick where they kind of understand some of those school concepts like math and writing, stuff like that. And then another amenity is that they have access to two counselors. So I myself is a counselor, and then we have a practicing therapist that come in and on Thursdays and really connect with them and kind of hold on to them and just kind of see like where they head at, see where they at. And then we provide a dinner every night, Monday through Thursday, that they're there, and a full free flowing snacks and drinks as they're there. And then throughout the summertime and hopefully during the fall, we try to take them on little adventures so they can experience stuff. So that may be like in the summertime, we went scuba dive. I mean, we went paddleboarding. We went to the beach. We took them out bowling. We we rented out a whole movie theater and to have that experience. So we did that. That was fun. So we try to do different things that are right on the line of just building a sisterhood, building a community, just empowering girls.
Unbelievable. And the reason why I said unreal, because my daughter participates in this program, my 13-year-old, and she loves it. And my daughter does so many little things, and I go drop her off. I would not even have known if you wouldn't have came out and just said, hey, parent, hey, check out what we're doing. Don't just drop your daughter off. Come and check us out. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's amazing. Dinner, you actually provide dinner. How often?
Every day.
And what kind of foods? Because I've heard about some of these dinners from my daughter, but I'll let you tell me what kind of things you provide.
We with the dinner. So the past week we did homemade lasagna and salad and breadsticks. We did chili. We do chicken Alfredo. We've also made these nourish bowls, and whereas like we try to introduce them to different type of eating. So that's the nourish bowls is a fully plant based meals, and so they're getting that experience of how to do that. Um, we also try to make it fun, and we hit up Chick-fil-A and Zell's to support some of our local businesses in the area as well. And then we make their favorites. We go down to the quesadillas, homemade pizzas. Any type of idea that they have, we try to make it happen.
Yeah, I had to hit you on the pizza and the lasagna.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
definitely if I
yeah.
could. And one thing I'd like to hit it on is the homemade stuff. So it sounds really healthy as well.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Yes.
I don't think that Ezel's chicken is as healthy, but it sure is good. That's
Yeah.
why I'm
In
gonna have to say
moderation,
that.
in moderation, I'm sure.
And so
Yeah.
let's talk about how does the program work and how long does it last seasonally? Because I know after school, after middle school, I pick my daughter up and I'll drop her off, or she'll get a ride with her friend Sedella over. So tell me how the program works, and the seasonality of it, please, Olympia.
So, usually the program works in between 8 to 16 weeks in cohorts. And that was our kind of like our early mindset of it. And now being that we've all came through this, year and a half where I felt like the girls needed more. So I extended it and we're kind of pivoting a little bit and making it more of a community based program. And so we want to engage the girls not only just for 8 weeks, but for their duration until they graduate high school. So building a long mentorship relationship. And studies is coming out and finding that having more duration with the girls, which is time, is like you're going to have better outcomes. So we try to piggyback on what the family needs are and the strengths of the program is and the strengths that the girls need. So we have some girls who kind of like maybe they just want to hang out for a little bit, come for after school, do some art with us. But then we have other young women who kind of like they really are more engaged and they want to hang out and they want their mentors and they want that big sister feeling. And so that's where we find our best connective is where they're there at the program for a long time, and those are the ones that we just continue to connect with, and just really just kind of have a good relationship with.
I get the likes up. If you like what you're seeing, get the likes up. That's powerful stuff. So when we talked about people of color, is it just like black children, or do you have other children involved as well?
There's we do just all young women of color. So it's black, it's Latinas. We have a Asian. We have a few biracial girls. So we try to incorporate that mix. And in general, we do allow, other young women who are not particularly young women of color to be a part of the group, because the idea is not to push anyone out, to make someone feel like they're not seen. But our primary space is built for girls of color.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and out here in Seattle, wow. I mean, it's not a lot of, especially blacks. Um, there's not a lot of us out here that we have some, but not as many as other places, right? So
Yeah.
let's show your shop a little bit. I was out there visiting your shop. Let me get you here on the split screen here. And right here we have a picture, And you have a slight delay here, but I'm showing the audience a picture of you, the entrance into your establishment. Tell us about this picture.
Okay. Um,
Is the picture up yet over there?
no, it's not
Oh,
up yet.
okay. Yeah, and
If
so
you can
this,
describe it to me.
yeah, so it's the entrance of you. I'll go through it because we do have a delay. So I'm showing the entrance of when you first walk into your your establishment that you have where the girls come in, and you have the PGMP sign up there. Then some other pictures within. There's your little seating area where the girls
Hmm.
can relax and chill out, which is pretty cool. And then I'm showing the Project Girl signs. There's a welcome sign from one of your galas. And then, yeah, it's just a beautiful scenery. It's set up very nicely. I shot some video. I have like a 3-minute video of me, you walking us through your establishment. So let me play that real quick. Let me get that queued up, and put us on mute here for a second, and let me mute up and play this. Hold on for a second.
So this is our front room style, where we get to kind of hang out and talk, and then sometimes we meet up here. And over here is basically this is our lounge area. And so for right now, this is where we do our homework time at, and we get to sit, connect, and have one-on-ones. And this is also where the mentees get a chance to eat and kind of relax in here. And then as we kind of come this way, it's kind of the same style structure. This is our quiet sit down area. So if you need to take a break from the whole group, you kind of can sit over here, grab something to read, just to kind of get your mind kind of reset a little bit. We try to create all the different spaces where they can just have some time alone if they need it. And then this is our full workroom. And so this week that we are actually working on painting. And so they created these awesome hope, love paintings, and we're still working on them. And so they have we're working on this right here. And then this is also like our workroom, and then our lounge spot, our hangout. We do movie nights in here. We put the TV in. We're doing karaoke in. So this is kind of like our multi-use, multi-space. We got a little everything going on in here. And then this area is just our storage and other stuff we got going on. So yeah.
Very nice. Is it okay to see?
Yeah. You can see so we have a makeshift kitchen, and then this is much of a storage area.
Oh,
And
wow.
then we have a bathroom, and so our bathroom is kind of like a nice little another zen area, where we have all the little toiletries they need. So if they need deodorant quickly, our hand sanitizer, our lotion. So we try to create little areas where they can have a little privacy, and we have personal hygiene stuff in there if something happens and they need it really quick.
Oh, very, very nice. All right. Okay.
And so then while they're here, they have we try to provide dinner or lunch while they're here, like a full. So today we're having lasagna and salad and breadsticks. And then the past weeks we've made nourish bowls, and we made quesadillas. And so we try to provide them something healthy while they're here, or just something nutritious.
Where does the food come from? Is the food donated, or is that part of just the grants and funding you get?
It's part of all the whole funding.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the cost for the girls to participate?
For a month, it's around $500.
Okay.
A girl to participate.
Okay.
And so that's kind of budgeted out for every time they come to make sure that they have the snacks that they want, especially if they're coming after school. They have food. They have a lot of activities that they need to do. Um, if we try to go somewhere, they just have kind of what they need just to kind of feel safe and be here.
And then what is the PGMP for?
So this stands for Project Girl Mentoring Program.
Okay.
So um, this is part of our first gala that we had where we were able to raise money for Project Girl. And so this is kind of like a little area where we just kind of, like, this is where the vision of Project Girl is.
Okay. Perfect. All right. All right. The volume was a little low. I couldn't get the volume higher, but it does give somewhat of a sense of your establishment. It's a beautiful place, the seating room and all of that. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yes, I did.
Yes. So Olympia, unreal what you're doing for the community, and I shouldn't just say unreal. Very, 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 very what you're doing for the girls, for the community. Tell us a little more about your professional background and what motivated you to start this program. What's the genesis? Where did this come from?
So originally it started in, I've always kind of worked in sectors where I work with teens and girls and women. And so I was working at a shelter. And at the time I was counseling teens that came in from the shelter with their parents. And it started with a group. And I just saw they were just kind of like, there was a little loss and they wanted something to do. They wanted someone to see them. They wanted someone to hear them. And that was around like 17 years ago when I was working in the shelter type area. As a counselor myself and a counselor, so I saw that maybe it's something different that I can offer to girls in the way of mentorship and providing activities and providing, different stuff for them to really for them to kind of invest in their own self. And this is where it kind of just started gathering together. I've worked at youth crisis centers where it's just like different types of girls, and it all kind of all go back down to the idea is that they want to feel seen, they want someone to listen to them, and they really don't know. I think like all teens, like they think they know everything, but a lot of times they really don't know what's happening. They really don't know how to process their emotions and process a lot of stuff that's happening. And so that's where a lot of the core of my heart of just showing like girls different ways to tap into their coping skills or tap into their life skills and really kind of bring that out of them versus like it's reciting affirmations if you're feeling like you're having a bad day or talking to your parent, talking through some of the things that you're going through at home, or getting out of a bad relationship or a bad friendship or toxic friendship. So we talk about that, and we talk about ways for them to recognize it.
So Olympia, what did the early days look like for this program? Can you tell us about when you were first
Yeah.
getting started and what efforts it took and what the early days looked like? Because I can imagine if this program is free for families to participate in on the initial start and it costs what it costs, I can imagine there were some challenges getting this thing started. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. First getting started looked like right in my garage, um, where we had the setup, we had the computers, and trying to figure out like what we want to do, how to make it sound right, how to get everything together. And so I was right in my garage, just typing out my ideas, typing out my programs, building up as I go. Um, and then I myself really taking that initiative and putting my own dollar to the mix. And so really first couple of years was self-funded to make the program work. To as a family we decided that this is something that we was going to invest in. And so with me and my husband, I was like, hey, can this is what we need for the year. And together we was like, let's make it happen. And so,
Not to interrupt you.
oh, so a lot of times that's how it started. It started in our garage. It started with us putting money aside, with us saving, or us, just trying to make little sacrifices here and there, so that we can really show up for the young women in our community.
Wow. And you must have a pretty supportive husband. Wow.
Yeah, he actually serves still on our board right now. He is our treasurer slash finance person to make sure that we make smart and sound decisions with our money, and that a lot of stuff that we do is still our idea of our how to build this business as a family, and so that is we have clear goals of what we decided to do.
And do you guys have kids as well? You
Yes, we have two boys ourselves. We have a 3 year old and a 6 year old. They both started school this year, pre K and first grade. And so that's what it kind of helps me a little bit, and I can tap into the decision, like what it feels like to be a parent, and kind of like navigate different avenues of having support and resources.
yeah, I thought that was pretty amazing that you have little boys, no little girls,
Right.
but you're
Mhm.
passionate. You're so passionate around this that you're doing it for the girls. And the difference you're making in these little girls' lives at a formative age, how does that feel for you?
It feels amazing to really sit back and hear how they open it up and how they're growing. Especially this summer, I've been able to see the transformation for like 3 or 4 months in the girls that we are currently working with, and just to see the growth of them, like how they change the words of how they speak over themselves or how they speak about situations. And so it gives me an opportunity to let me know like I'm doing something right. And all the early years of doing what we I needed to do to make sure that all our stuff was correct, like our paperwork, and really taking the time and really doing our own 501(c)(3) and all the other stuff we did in the beginning. It lets me know that this is what I was supposed to be doing for them, and to see them grow as young women and to grow as individuals is really great, because I can see the growth. Like I can see the time, and it's definitely not something that happens overnight, and it takes time. Like um, we're teaching them these core life skills to really not really show up for themselves, especially since the show is about betting on themselves. Like just bet on themselves and invest in who they are now as a young woman. So then when they grow up and they be adults, they have like an inkling of I have an idea of this is what I need to do. Um, and that's what we kind of do.
Wow. Patrick, do you have anything before I go on my final couple of questions to wrap up?
No, I just want to say, continue the great work. It sounds like you're making a very quintessential impact on these young girls' lives, and there should be many more programs like it.
Yeah, and Olympia, how do people start a program like this? Are you trying to branch out across the country or across Seattle? What's your growth plan like? And
My growth plan right now is to get a little bit more heavily involved in different areas in King County area. And so this is where we at. Like we heavily focus on Snohomish County because this is where we kind of live around. But focusing more on King County, there's been a couple of talks of people's like, oh, you should bring Project Girl back to Jacksonville, start a chapter here, in California. And I'm like, I'll know once everything kind of where we end up at. We're really just big gaining momentum here when it's the right time to kind of do something else. Um, the future, what it looks like for Project Girl is really to just to continue the growth and continue getting all our stuff together, and so that we be here for a long time. A lot of small businesses, sometimes they start and then things happen and they just not here. So we're actually in our ninth year of doing business, and I believe that small growth is perfect, and so just making those little steps to make sure that we're around and that we're here meeting the needs, and that we have a collective of what the girls need in the community. So I'm definitely kind of looking out. What's our next step? What's our next strategic plan? And kind of going from there.
Are you open to people reaching out to you and expanding? Are you open to that?
Yes, yes, I'm open for people to reach out to us and say how can we partner together? How can we grow the mission?
Okay. Okay. And what does success look like for girls finishing your program? What does that look like?
Success looks a little different when it comes to mentoring, but one of our successfuls that we've had recently was where um, I was able to bring on three of our mentors that started in Project Girl as mentees, and so completing the model of mentorship. So three of our leaders right now and our program coordinators and directors in Project Girl actually started out when they were 14, 15, and going through the whole process, and then they went to school, got their education, or they went into technical school, and then they were able to come back and be a part and be the mentors. And for me, that's a success model that I look at. So, like, I'm still training them, but in a different way and working with them. But now they are the mentors, and they have their own group of mentees. And so, to me, that's kind of like the model of success that I'm looking for, and that I really is appreciated in Project Grow. So we have this complete circle, and so um, because I think that's what the girls kind of identify and seeing like, yeah, you can, whatever happened in your life, but you can come back and then you can be a part of the girl and you can come back and pull someone else up and talk to them. And so that's kind of like the basic model of success of Project Girl. I'll have these, we all have these little financial successes, and we're just to make sure that like we are staying on top of everything, and we are like we're still a small business, we're still like growing at the same time. I think another one I'll have like just started investing money for Project Girl in the long term and bringing that to fruition.
Yeah, my daughter was talking about, you guys were talking about stock investing and all of those
Hmm.
type of things. Is there any help that you need? And if so, how can people reach out? Kind of what are the kind of things you need?
One of the things that we need is one to donate to personally put your dollars and to the community program, especially like Project Girls, and you're going to invest. That helps us grow. Um, Signing up to be a part of our leadership team, but that may look like being a part of our board or sharing other board members, or sharing other people that might be great for our board members to kind of help us grow internally. Um, Also talking to your employers, doing the match dollars, that helps us grow. And then any type of like in-kind stuff, we gladly accept donations if you have them. We like gift cards if you have them. If you get the random supplies, that just allows us to kind of grow a little bit and be offer stuff. Like in the past actually week, we were able to offer, because we had gift cards, we were able to offer a family who was struggling with food, so we were able to give them $200 for gift cards, and that was from one of our community donations. And so stuff like that just helps us grow as a program and help our program just kind of hit the next wave, meeting the needs of the mentees that we have.
What does it look like for parents and families that participate in your program do they typically, what's the percentage they give back and donate based on participating? What does that look like?
Um, we really don't have like a big percentage of parents who kind of it might be their time that might give back versus monetary because of the climate, especially right now.
They need to be given back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where some parents are like, they can definitely show up to some of our events, connect that way, spread the word. That's one way that our parents can show up and give the percentage. Because right now we don't have a lot, but at the same time, it's not the staples of the program.
So a lot of parents are not giving back monetarily.
Yeah.
Hell no, to the no.
We're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to fix ways to give back monetarily. We're gonna have to fix that. This program is excellent, especially for those people that's in the Seattle area. You need to share this video. You need to support Olympia. Olympia, so how do they reach out to you to support again?
You can support us on our website, www.project-girl.org. Click that Invest tab, and then that will take you straight to a PayPal, and then you can go ahead and put your dollars right there and support us.
Yeah, and it, for people who work for big companies like the company I work for, they match dollar for dollar. So once you donate, the Amazons, the Microsoft, the Boeings, the Nordstroms, T-Mobile, Zillow, all of those guys are out here, and we all have programs in these Fortune 500 companies that match dollar for dollar. So it really helps out a lot when parents like us give, as well as donating your time. Because I know the company I work for, if you volunteer time, you just say the time, and then they give 501c3s like yourself donations as well. What do you have to say about that?
That would be really great and amazing. I just kind of learned about another organization that does that. But like we're having a 5K coming up on October 16th, and that'll be a perfect opportunity to kind of invest your time. If you're local, come in the area, and if you're not local, again, seeing what ways can you kind of plug into Project Girl. And so what that may look like is sharing with a friend. If you have a friend that works at for a Fortune 500 company, that may be sharing our stuff on Facebook or social, taking time out to really learn about what the needs of the community is and the needs of just girls in general.
Yeah, and
you can always send me an email.
Go ahead, please.
And you can always send me an email, and if we can talk about ways for you to just to connect with us.
And what's your email address?
It's olympia@project-girl.org.
All right. And can they hit you in the website to get to you as well?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, that's it for us. That's all I had today, Olympia. We went over a little bit, just really powerful stuff. And is there anything you want to say in closing that we may not have covered, or something you'd like to say?
No, just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show and talk about ways that we can invest in our community and ways that I am investing into the lives of young women of color.
I know Patrick. Patrick, anything in closing before we spin off into what is a SWOT analysis? What? AMD and all of the investing that we have coming up before we spin off. Anything for you?
No, just keep doing the great work, Olympia, and it really warms my heart. And whatever we can contribute, just let us know.
Okay.
All right. Well, Olympia, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for blessing us on the Bet Out of Debt show. And you have a great one.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
All right, Patrick. That was Olympia. Man. Man, oh man. What are your thoughts, Patrick? That was powerful, huh?
It's very powerful. I think it's a great program for those disadvantaged, that they're not alone. There's a place for them to, sort out the problems, for them to grow, and solve problems, and then eventually when they graduate from this program, they'll be in a better position to deal with life challenges.
Yeah, thank you for the like. Get the likes up if you really like that. It doesn't cost anything to like content like this. And reach out to Olympia. I had the www dot website up so people could see it. I'm certainly going to do some things along those lines. I am one of the parents that didn't realize, all of this. So I'm a little remiss on the funding too. So I plan to do something so I can give myself.
Hell no. To the no.
I'm in that parent group. My child's been going there for free, eating after school and all of that. So, yeah. So Olympia just hit us in the chat, projectgirl.org. And her email, olympia@project-girl.org. So yeah, we have to support our community. We have to support people like what Olympia is doing, and it's just beautiful, Patrick. So
it is
very. And then we got Edward Dawson, Greg Dawson in the house, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, up in the building. All right, Patrick. So let's spin off into the other segment of our show, and let's talk stocks. Let's talk.
Indeed.
What is a SWOT analysis, and can you break that down for us? And why is it important? And then let's talk about a particular stock that I'm interested in. I just invested in, at least my daughter just invested in this week because it was down. It's very cheap. Let's compare AMD to Nvidia and to the market. So let's get into the SWOT analysis and what we do. So can you lead us through that, Mr. Doherty?
Yes, I can. So what is a SWOT analysis? It is essentially looking at the internal strengths and internal weaknesses of a company, as well as we're looking at the external opportunities a company may be afforded and the associated threats. And I have an article that I'd like to share on that. So let me share my screen fairly quickly.
Yeah, please. Let's do it, Patrick.
Okay. So I was going to go to my share screen tab here.
Oh, much love to you, Mr. Dawson.
So this is from an article on Investopedia, and that's a really good source for fundamental and technical analysis for any kind of company. This is an article by Will Keaton, updated as of March 29, 2021. So it's a recent article.
And so you need a Super P, which is your nickname, Patrick. Can we blow that up a bit?
Okay, I could certainly do that.
Yeah, so because the cell phone screens are so small. So
I apologize.
Blow it up really big.
Okay, how's this?
Yeah, and yes, that's cool.
Okay, sorry. So I apologize to our
I'm gonna
audience.
slide you over a bit on the screen. Go ahead, Patrick.
So what is a SWOT analysis? So as I was just saying, SWOT is an acronym, SWOT, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And it's an analysis that's a framework used to evaluate a company's competitive position and for strategic planning. And it essentially focuses on internal and external factors as well as current and future potential. And it's designed to facilitate a realistic, fact-based, data-driven look at the strengths and weaknesses of an organization, initiatives, or within its industry. And this is an analysis that needs to be accurate by avoiding preconceived beliefs or gray areas and instead focusing on real life context. And companies should use this as a guideline and not necessarily as a prescription. And as you know, SWOT analyses can be tailored to a company's needs. So the key takeaways I want people to know about this SWOT analysis stuff is the SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique that provides an assessment tool. So what are we assessing? We're looking at the core strengths of a company, the core weaknesses. And as I said, these strengths and weaknesses are these are internal aspects of a company's position in a business environment. The opportunities and the threats are essentially what I would say external or exogenous, whereas internal is endogenous. And these lead to a facts-based analysis, fresh perspectives, and new ideas. So it's a good way to for the management and its key employees, to come together maybe periodically and discuss these factors that are facing the company. And then how do we do the SWOT analysis? And it's a technique for assessing the performance, competition, risk, and the potential of a business, as well as part of a business such as a product line or division or an industry or other entity with that's important to an organization. And using internal and external data, the technique can guide business towards strategies more likely to be successful and away from those which have been or likely to be less successful or even abject failures. Independent SWOT analyses, investors and competitors can also guide them on whether a company, product line, or an industry might be strong or weak and why. And to me, the best way to establish a SWOT analysis is to do a quadrant grid. So on one quadrant, you might have the company's strengths. On another quadrant, you'll have the company's weaknesses. Here, on one quadrant, on still another quadrant, you'll have the opportunities, and the last quadrant, you may have its threats. And that acts as a visual overview, and it's easily organized into these these various aspects of the business, or organized into 4 quadrants, and each dedicated to an element of the SWOT. And this visual arrangement provides a quick overview of the company's position. And this is what the strengths of a company. A strength describe what an organization excels at and what separates it from the competition. That'd be like a strong brand. Like, for example, McDonald's has an identifiable brand. You see it everywhere in the world. I want to go to McDonald's. Kiddies want to go to McDonald's. If somebody doesn't know what to eat, hey, I'll just go to McDonald's. So it's a strong brand, loyal customer base, and a strong balance sheet. In the case of Apple, Apple has a strong cash position of many, many hundreds of billions of dollars. That's the strength of Apple. Unique technology. Take the case of Nvidia, for example. Nvidia has GPUs, those are graphic processing units, that are in a class of their own, that are in exceedingly high demand. And they provide ample gross profit for that organization. So that's an opportunity of a strength of an organization. Or for a hedge fund, they may have designed a proprietary trading strategy that returns market-beating results. Now, let's discuss the weaknesses. And a weakness is pretty much stunt an organization from performing at its optimal level. They are areas where the business needs to improve or remain competitive. So a weak brand, for example, or higher than average turnover, like there might be some companies that have horrible management skills, and then you see employees coming in and out. High levels of debt. For example, I think it's Evercore or Everglade. It's the Chinese firm that has excessive debt and could cause potential financial trouble for the Chinese economy. And it's a company that needs a government bailout. Inadequate supply chain or lack of capital. Those would be some of the weaknesses. Opportunities. Now, again, we're going into the external or the exogenous aspects of a company. So these opportunities will refer to the external factors that could give an organization a competitive edge. For example, if a company cuts tariffs, a car manufacturer can export its cars into a new market, increasing sales and market share. In the case of Nvidia, so I keep going back to Nvidia because that's one of my favorite stocks, and it's a stock that has explosive growth. It's looking to acquire a company by the name of ARM, for those who may not already know. And ARM will provide them an extra opportunity for NVIDIA to expand into the tablet and handheld devices, such as Apple iPhones. Or, in the case of Ford, they have entered into the EV space, and that will increase its market share and also explore the EV space where they have a very strong competitive advantage with the new CEO who's in charge. Now, a threat, these threats refer to factors that have potential to harm an organization. For example, a drought is a threat to a wheat-producing company. And as you know, the Southwest is experiencing a significant drought along the Colorado River, and many farms are having to adjust to that climate change, and that's going to destroy or reduce a crop yield for those farmers. Another threat might be regulatory threats. For example, the Chinese government has harshly cracked down on many high-tech companies operating in China. For example, Alibaba is always under constant threat of government regulations that are arbitrarily. And since the Chinese government is going more towards traditional communism, a lot of companies there may face new taxes, new restrictions, or even expropriation of assets. So that's a very significant threat doing business in China as a Chinese company. You can have rising materials, like for right now, oil is going up, natural gas is going up. So a lot of companies that maybe some of the airline companies may face threats from increased input prices such as oil and fuel costs, increasing competition in a space, tight labor supply. These are the various levels of external threats. And here's a grid that you could use to ask questions about how do I design a SWOT table. So to recap, you can say your strengths or in one quadrant, what is our competitive advantage? What resources do we have? What products are performing well? Again, in the case of Nvidia, the GPU cards. Weaknesses, where can we improve? What products are underperforming? Where are we lacking resources? A lot of restaurant companies do not have the human capital. And if they do, they usually don't stick around for very long. So that's an internal weakness. Threats. As I was discussing before, regulations. What are the regulations that threaten the operations? Again, the Chinese heavy-handed tactics in dealing with free enterprise in that country. What do our competitors do well? Maybe in the case of Lucid Motors, Ford has a strong competitive advantage because it has economies of scale, and it too has entered the EV space. And of course, they have a very strong CEO that Lucid might not have. And what customer trends threaten the business? Then opportunities. What technology can we use to improve operations? So here, because Nvidia has a supply chain issues, and being able to deliver some of their high-tech products, they're using that whatever they have, the competitive advantages they have within the AI space, the GPU space, the 3D rendering space. They're offering platform as a service where that's a new subscription-based opportunity that Nvidia has decided to invest in. And if you listen to the last conference call, that's starting to really grow exponentially. Can we expand our core operations? What new market segments can we explore? Again, Nvidia, they want to get into handheld devices and smaller computing devices other than large desktop and mainframe computers. And that's SWOT analysis in a nutshell.
Wow, Patrick, that's pretty cool, man. Let me pull myself back up here. That's pretty cool. So that's a SWOT analysis. I would say, Patrick, we ran long on time today, and yeah, I really want to talk AMD, and I really would like to do a comparison with AMD and to Nvidia, like you were saying earlier, pre-production. And so, you think we could fit that in?
I could probably do the metrics, the different metrics and the different returns of investments compared to Nvidia.
Okay, so can you share with the audience, since we're talking SWOT analysis. Where do you go to get a SWOT analysis on a particular company?
Well, probably the best way to do that is you could probably, it's not hard to design yourself. Well, what you do is you listen to try to follow the news releases on these companies. And you could do that through Yahoo Finance. It's a very, very good source. Bar chart is also very good. And also listen to the conference calls. There's a treasure trove of information there that you can apply to a SWOT analysis.
Okay. And thank you for that hit behind the scenes there, Mr. Dawson.
As well, just to conclude, one other source might be maybe Investopedia or Motley Fool, fool.com. It might provide some kind of SWOT analysis too.
Okay. Is there a place where you go to kind of get a SWOT analysis?
I use a combination of things. So I would look at maybe Yahoo Finance, bar chart. Also, I have a TD Ameritrade account that provides news releases on the respective companies that I'm interested in. And I kind of design my own SWOT analysis. And of course, the conference calls.
All right. So you do your own SWOT. I know there are some places where you can just get the analysis on various companies. I know with the Fidelity platform, they have a service. They coordinate with one. I can't think of the brokerage company, not the brokerage, but the analyst company. Can't think of it right now. But you can get a SWOT analysis on any stock. So they'll go right through the strengths and all of that stuff.
I think Zacks might be a good resource as well, but it's a subscription-based service.
Yeah,
I think Zacks might be a good service for that too. But again, I do my own SWOT analysis.
Okay, that's cool. I know on the Fidelity platform they have that ability. I'm not sure if they have that ability on Thinkorswim, or which is TD Ameritrade, right, or other platforms. But let's do a quick comparison before we wrap up. AMD, I'm really big on AMD right now. We both are big investors into Nvidia, and if you look at the past shows, you'll see us just talking ad nauseum on Nvidia. Let's do a comparison with my new stock pick, AMD. And let's look at some charts really quick before we wrap up to see what that comparison looks like, Patrick.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to the AMD tab here, and then I'll start sharing again really quickly. Share screen. Tab, AMD. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, and I apologize for the loud horn. I'm hearing that the horn is too loud. Let me hear this thing.
Okay.
I hear that thing is way too loud. All right, let's continue.
So, let me get rid of this graphic here. So I'm looking at the AMD financial ratios. So what we have is the return on equity, just over 39%.
Where are you, Patrick? I'm trying to.
I'm on bar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't know where you are on the screen.
Okay, so I'm on.
I got you blocking that area. Let me move you over on the screen, and let me get you in here, Patrick. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You got too much going on here on the screen. Let me get you in here. Hold on for a second. So you have these ratios up.
Yes.
You're sharing your screen. Let me get you in here. Hold on for a second. All right. I think I can get you in here now, Patrick. All right. So you're doing the ratios over here to the right. Can you blow
I'm doing
that
the
up a
ratios.
bit, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's blow this up. I want to really blow it up,
This
actually.
is AMD's ratios, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's
So
look at AMD's ratios. All right.
so we're talking about AMD and their financial performance. Oh, these darn pop-ups. So anyways, we have the return on equity of 39.20%. So a little over 39%.
That is excellent.
We have return on assets of close to 25%.
That is excellent.
Net profit margin, gross profit margin is 25.5%. So that's pretty good still. And we're looking at the net margin of 13%. And you're looking at the debt to equity. There's very, very, very little debt, so it's extremely liquid. So definitely a thumbs up to that. Now, if you want to compare that to Nvidia.
All right, let's do that comparison, sir. Man, those are some very strong numbers, Patrick.
So Nvidia has an even more respectable return on equity of almost 41%.
Uh-oh. Can you have the fidelity thing in a way? Can you close
Okay,
that?
am I not sharing the
You're sharing. Yeah, there you go. You got rid of that notification. Okay. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. So, yeah, let me know if I'm not sharing anything, and then
No, you're
I'll
sharing.
fix it.
Go ahead. I just
Okay.
added myself into the screen, but go ahead.
Right. So we're looking at return on
God
equity.
dang it. Those notifications keep popping up, Patrick. Gosh
I
dang it.
know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It keeps blocking the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, and
There we go.
it's pissing me off too. But anyways, um,
We'll just work around it. Just keep pushing it up. Go ahead, sir.
yes. So return on equity is at 41%. Return on assets, 23.58%. The net profit margin is 25.98%.
Patrick, we cannot see that. You need to pull it up as you're talking because the notifications are just going crazy on your screen. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. Now the net profit margin is 14.6%, and then the debt to equities is somewhat higher, but still a respectable 0.32%. So they're still relatively liquid.
All right. So Patrick, look now. Here's what I want to look at for our audience. For those who want to learn how to trade stocks or buy long-term investing vehicles, and some may already know and may agree or disagree with what I am about to say. But let's say this. Let's look at the forward PE on AMD.
Yes.
And then let's look at the forward PE on Nvidia.
Okay. So we're back to AMD. Can you see
Forward
this?
PE is what? So for again, the price of a stock is equal to its earnings per share, and then the market would pay 74 times in this case times that earnings per share. So you paying 74 times what it earns per share. And the reason why the market pays that, the market being us, is because of the growth. So what we buy in the stock market is growth in earnings per share, growth in profits. So this has a 70 forward PE, looking into the future, what is projected to earn. We're paying 74 times earnings. That
Yes.
is 74 times on on AMD.
AMD. Yes.
Right. Now let's look at what we're paying forward
For
on Nvidia.
okay. So
And that would tell me
Nvidia,
which one is cheaper.
Nvidia is cheaper in with regards to the PE ratio because Nvidia is at 40 versus roughly 74, 75
I'm not
times.
seeing the Nvidia.
Are you not?
No, hold
Okay,
on. Maybe it's
give me
just
one
me.
second.
Hold on. Will you share? Yeah, you're not sharing the Nvidia.
Okay, let me stop sharing and then I'll start again. Share screen, Nvidia.
I would
Okay.
like to see the Nvidia. Okay, let me see this. Is this Nvidia?
This
Yes,
is
this is
Nvidia.
Nvidia. And we did not have Nvidia up earlier because you weren't sharing, but now we can see the numbers. The numbers look slightly better except for debt. But if you can pull that up a little bit, yes. But look at the forward PE. The forward
PE
price to
is lower.
earnings. So you're paying 40 times the earnings per share.
So with AMD, you're paying almost twice
the earnings per share. So AMD
Yes.
is expected, if you don't think AMD is going to grow like twice as fast as Nvidia, has a huge catalyst to keep that growth going, certainly you would not want to pay 74 times in this inflationary market, right?
Exactly. You want to get something
so
that's
Nvidia seems to be cheaper, Patrick.
It does. It does.
All right.
And what I'd also like to share are the relative performances of the two stocks.
Okay. So let's get that. I have you back on the screen. Let's get that queued up. If so we can look at the performance, because I'm a big AMD guy too. But in comparison to Nvidia and the projected growth rate on Nvidia, I'm not sure I agree that AMD is going to grow twice as, it's worth twice the money,
I've uploaded some graphics. This is year to date performance of these respective investments, the AMD, Nvidia, and the S&P 500 index. So to begin with, the S&P 500 index, and this is the broad, heavily market-weighted index that, as I keep saying over and over again, most, if not all, fund managers fail to beat this index over a long period of time. So this is basically the holy grail of benchmarks. This has been up year to date 16% with this magenta graphic here, the magenta line. Now we could go to in AMD, and this is again year to date from January 1st to date, and this has underperformed the S&P at 11.71%. Now, let's take a look at NVIDIA, which is this turquoise blue line versus the royal blue line. And this is up 59%, almost 60% year to date. So NVIDIA has crushed the S&P 500, which is this magenta line, and has absolutely crushed AMD, which is this darker blue line here. So the evidence is in the pudding here, if you will, if you pardon the phrase here. And to go over a 5-year period, the S&P 500 is up by about 98% or so. I'm not sure if you can see that too well there on the bottom. AMD, however, if you look at this, and this might be because of the new CEO that has come in, she has turned this company around, Lisa So.
Yeah.
And this has actually outperformed the
I know this, Patrick.
NVIDIA.
I know this, Patrick. this is something I already knew, even though the forward PE is higher. But go ahead, please.
Yes. Yeah. And this is over a 5-year period. And we're looking at, we're looking at 1,382% return. So over a 5-year period, if you had $1,000,
Yeah, you had 10. You put up 10, you'll have 100.
Yes.
150. Just
Yes.
to say it in the brother man vernacular, but
There you go.
150. Come on, Patrick.
But anyways, the in AMD would have has definitely outperformed Nvidia by a significant margin. And going forward, that might be the case.
Yeah, maybe, may not. Let's stop sharing, and let's kind of get things going here. So Devo had a question here while you were going through this, and Devo said, have you mentioned that NVIDIA products are used to mine Bitcoin? And
NVIDIA products are, it's a derivative use of the NVIDIA's products. NVIDIA doesn't really rely on the Bitcoin market to sell their products, or the cryptocurrency market to really sell their products. In fact, they want to limit those sales to the cryptocurrency market. However, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency miners are finding ingenious ways to, scalp as much supply as they can and use that supply, and maybe they can somehow convert the language to change the graphics card to mine cryptocurrency.
I hear you, Patrick. So, NVIDIA or AMD? Right now, in this inflationary market, I just put on an AMD trade. I think it was Thursday. But AMD, it might have been yesterday. I'm so out of sorts. But I put on an AMD trade late this week. And actually, my daughter and I put on the trade, my 13-year-old. So AMD there instead of NVIDIA, because I know that projection there. But I think you're more bullish on NVIDIA. I'm bullish too, but what are your thoughts in comparison right now? Inflationary environment, AMD seems to be more expensive. AMD bought Xilinx. So
I would say, for safety, if you want to say flight to quality, NVIDIA is probably the safer bet.
Okay.
However, AMD, because they have a new CEO, they're involved in a lot more internal changes. So to go back to the SWOT analysis thing, the innovative technological and management changes that are going on within AMD, especially with Lita Su, the new CEO, has been amazingly effective.
Lisa Su's been there since 2015-ish. That's when she started turning the company around. She's been there 5 years.
Okay.
She's not new.
Well, in any event, but she's been an absolute leader.
Oh yeah, she's the reason why the company turned around. Lisa Su is the reason why the company turned around. And that's just the same when we were talking about Ford turnaround a couple of shows ago. That new CEO is going to make a huge difference. Shutting down the India operations is not profitable. Brazil not profitable. All of that stuff from Ford from the past, you're getting Ford at a discount right now. I'm personally invested there. Tesla is good too. But if you want a $14 stock, which I bought at $12 and it's at $14 now, it's going to continue to go up. You bet on those CEOs. that makes a difference all the way from the top down. So Lisa Su is certainly one of those. And Nvidia is that
Jensen Huang.
Jensen Wang. Yeah, he's spectacular.
Well, he invented the GPU,
Yeah, and leading the company.
and he's got amazing execution. So that means his management skills are some of the best you'll find anywhere.
Yeah, and Patrick, it would be interesting to see where Nvidia falls on the Bollinger Band right now and where AMD falls on the Bollinger Band, because I'm predicting the market is still going to go down because of inflationary concerns, the whole, China stuff that's going on with the housing market over there. Well, I should say the real estate market over there, as well as the debt ceiling news that's going on. We need to raise the debt ceiling and all of that political stuff. And the interest rates are going up, right? Because they're about to do the tapering, which means the government is going to start buying less bonds to keep the treasury yields down. So yields are going to go up. And as interest rates go up, the treasury yields then things will start getting more expensive. The housing market is predicted to be under pressure, have headwinds. So it's a crazy non-growth environment right now. And you know the old saying, Patrick, when stocks are high, when interest rates are low, stocks will grow. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. I learned that like in 1990 when I first started investing, right? So, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the China thing is probably exclusive to China. I don't think that's going to really affect the global market too much. I think that the debt debacle thing, are we going to raise the debt ceiling or not? I think ultimately we will. I mean, the default of the U.S. Treasury would be cataclysmic across the world economy, not just here in the U.S. So I'm sure the congressional leaders are mindful of that, the ones who matter. And in terms of inflation, yeah, I think you are seeing a pickup in inflation. However, when you see this market already coming down a bit, that's pretty much baked into the market. Higher interest rates do not necessarily mean that the market is about to roll over. I think depends on why these interest rates are moving higher. I mean, right now, yeah, people are looking at the inflation and saying, okay, well, this is not a good thing. And if inflation continues on a high trajectory, yes, ultimately that's going to be bad for stocks. However, if interest rates are moving higher because the economy is strong, but the inflation, it may be elevated, but if it's not out of control or, deemed too high for the Fed and most economists and the market participants, which does its own analysis, then I think, higher interest rates might actually be good for stocks.
Yeah, good stuff, Patrick. That's really good stuff, my friend. Yeah, I can't even argue with that because you're absolutely right with that. Where do you think AMD falls on the Bollinger Band?
Well, why don't we take a look at it?
Yeah, before we wrap up, let's see if AMD is ripe, I should say, for a trade next week to get in. Is it a good entry point? And also, let's look at Nvidia to see if
we'll look at
ripe
both of them
to get in next week. Because if the market continues to fall, I think it will. It may not. Who knows what the market is going to do? But if the market continues to fall, I'm going to buy more of either Nvidia or AMD because it's going to spring like a coil when the market turns around in November and going into the Santa Claus rally, right? And
Yes.
also, as the chip shortage eases, these are the chips that's going to be leading the way. So it's going to be easy money to make. So let's look at what does a trade look like on AMD for next week. Where does it fall in the Bollinger Band? Because that's our key indicator to see when to get into a stock. We look at the Bollinger Band. We want to buy into that stock near the second deviation low, which is the bottom of the Bollinger Band.
Okay, so in any event, I'm about to share AMD chart.
Yeah, let's do AMD, and then you may have to click out and go into Nvidia to do that. So let's get you up on the screen here, Patrick. Okay, and then let's blow up the right portion where we want to zoom in at on the Bollinger Bands.
Okay, so here we are right here. So I'll go a little bit farther in.
Yeah, thank you for blowing that up. We have the price right there. Okay. So it's near
right now.
If you're looking at the price, I wish we had a line chart. It would be easier to see for new investors versus that open and close.
I can do a line chart, no problem.
Yeah, you change that to there we go.
Okay, so yes.
That's just easier for the audience.
Okay, no, understood. I mean, I get so used to open, high, low, close.
Yeah, open, high, low, close is what we were looking at. This is a simple line chart to show where the stock is today as of close on Friday. So Patrick is near, it's below the middle line of the Bollinger Band, which is the 20-day moving average. It's near, it was at the bottom, which is 100. The bottom of the Bollinger Band is the 100 mark. Mm-hmm. So we want to buy near 100 to get into this trade with 2 standard deviations away from the middle, which means that it's a great opportunity for this stock to move up. It's too far low. It's way too low compared to its traditional range where it trades. So I like AMD down here, Patrick. That's why I bought in the 102 range. If it falls below 100, I may load the boat and just start dumping into it. But go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so right here, so the bottom range is around, again, $100 a share. So I think it just kind of slightly broke, or support would be around 102, maybe 95 a share, right around in here. Failing that, then the support would be around $95, $96 a share. If the market keeps going lower, and then it would be extremely cheap at around this level, because right here would be support.
Yeah, that would be support. The top, what used to be resistance, becomes support. Okay, so, man,
and then
AMD
we can jump into Nvidia.
If AMD falls below 100 next week, I'm buying. All right, let's look at Nvidia real quick before we wrap up and see where it falls on the Bollinger Bands. So let's unshare, Patrick.
No, actually, I could just
you could just pull it.
Stocks up.
All right.
Yeah,
let's see. It is there. I do not see the Bollinger Bands quite yet. Man, you're getting a lot of advertisement on bar chart today.
Okay, let me see if I can get out here. And then.
Now look at this, Patrick. I may have changed my mind after seeing where Nvidia falls on the Bollinger Bands. My goodness. And look at the width. It's expanding.
Yeah. So let me zoom in. So right now it's kissing. It's like right on the Bollinger Band.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas AMD was just slightly above.
Right.
Not only that, it's touching with support resistance line right here at around 295.97. So 295.97 right here.
205.
205, sorry. 205.48 or so. About 205, 206 right here is the support resistance line.
Yep.
And if it failing that, then support would be at around 180-ish.
Patrick, if Nvidia falls near 180, I'm probably going to take out everything I have, every resource known to me, and dump it in there and make a buttload of money.
Yes.
But this is a great place to purchase. I've changed my mind, Patrick, based on seeing the Bollinger Bands. I think you're right. I think you won this debate, my friend. And go ahead.
Yeah, because Nvidia is probably going to be a safer bet because of the profit margins are better than that of AMD's, and it's also more. It's got a stronger brand name for graphics cards and AI and that kind of stuff. And now, Nvidia is offering platform as a service.
And look where it is on the Bollinger Band. It's at the very bottom. It's actually expanded a little bit, so it's further. It's almost further than where it normally trades on the second deviation low, at least from the 20-day moving average perspective. And it's cheaper PE. The PE was around 40. You're paying 40 times the earnings per share. With AMD, you were paying, I believe, 79 times the earnings per share. So even though this stock is, the price of this individual stock is $200 a share, is actually cheaper based on how much you're paying times the EPS, the PE ratio. Right. So this is the better play if once you do the SWOT analysis, and there's a big if, and that big if is that acquisition of what, Patrick?
Of ARM Limited.
Right. Arms Holding Limited. So
now keep in mind that Nvidia does not need ARM Limited. The price of the stock is factoring in that the ARM Limited deal will not go through.
I get that, Patrick. I get that.
That would just be an extremely good bonus if ARM goes through. And that will offer, a whole set of opportunities and new strengths because it will have the new technology to expand into that market.
Oh, shout out to Miss Jams. Shout out to Miss Jams. Yeah, Patrick. So, yeah. I mean, that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm liking Nvidia now, and but what I would say is that if the acquisition doesn't go through Arms Holding, then there would be disappointment, and that will hit the stock just from the disappointment perspective. But overall, long term,
it will continue to move higher.
Yes, it'll continue to move. So I think that's it, Patrick, for today. I think that's what we have for today. For the Bet Out of That show, was a long show. Great. If you missed Olympia earlier, please go back and take a look at that. If you enjoy what she had to share, please let people know who have daughters about the program, Teenage Age Daughters. It's a free program. It's in Linwood, Washington. She's accepting donations, so let's all step up to give some donations there. And Patrick,
these donations are tax deductible, so there's no reason not
listen to the accountant. The accountant, tax deductible, Mr.
And even if you don't itemize, you still can deduct $300 from your tax return.
Exactly. So that's it for the Bet Out of Debt show for today. I'm Troy Johnson. We call this show the Bet Out of Debt Show because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet. And hopefully it's a winner to keep you out of debt. And as you know, placing a bet is just a metaphor for investing. And this show is about investing in your community, investing into your loved ones, and also investing into Nvidia now. All right, guys, take care. And we will see you next week. Goodbye.